Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation. My presentation is going to be on my app called Carbon Hero. So, what is the problem that my app will be addressing? Although many people want to be more environmentally conscious, they do not know enough about their carbon footprints and how they affect the environment. In fact, a lot of people have never calculated their carbon footprint or have never even heard the term. The target users will be people that care about the environment and are interested in helping combat the issue of climate change. The context where the problem happens is everywhere. There are people all over the world who want to be more environmentally friendly. And the main point is that a person cannot lessen their carbon footprint if they do not understand how their actions affect it, which actions affect it, and how those actions are contributing to the emission of carbon. And my proposed solution to this is to give people the ability to calculate their carbon footprint as well as provide them with information on it, provide them with personalized tips on how to be more environmentally friendly, allow them to track their progress in terms of reducing their carbon footprint, and inform them about the tasks they are completing and how they are making a positive impact on the environment. In terms of data collection and analysis, the data for this project was collected through a series of interviews and surveys. The three interviewees that I interviewed all reported caring about climate change as an issue and wanting to be more environmentally friendly. And the survey was sent out to 10 plus participants. The key findings were that a lot of people have very little to no information on how to help mitigate climate change, that recycling seems to be the most common form of environmental friendliness that people are aware of, with other forms not being talked about nearly as much. Many people see climate change as a political agenda or as something that will not affect them. Most participants indicated having some familiarity with the term carbon footprint, but never having calculated their own. Over half of the participants did not think that they had good sources of information on climate change, and most participants said that they would consider changing their lifestyle in order to be more environmentally friendly. In terms of my brainstorming sketches, sketch one is for the carbon footprint calculator section of the app, where the user is prompted to enter specific types of information. And then once they calculate, they are given a pie chart that will basically tell them how each of the areas they entered is contributing to their overall carbon footprint. They will also be presented with a summary below. Sketch two is carbon footprint information. This was originally going to be about what a carbon footprint is. However, I decided to modify it because having static information in an app like this is not the best idea. Sketch 3 was methods to reduce your carbon footprint. This idea got modified into the personalized tips section of the app. This was originally just going to be different methods in which you could reduce your carbon footprint. However, I decided to make it more personalized to the person who is using the app and it be more specified to their specific carbon footprint. And then sketch 4 is showing how the notifications feature works, how the user goes to the settings screen, they turn on push notifications, and then they get reminders about their daily green goals. Here, I will demonstrate how the entire system flows through the use of wireframes. So first, the user is taken to the create account screen where they are prompted to enter their name, their email address, their password, upload a picture, and then create their account. Then we have the login to Carbon Hero screen over here where the user is able to log in. And then they are taken to the home screen with their daily green goals. As you go finishing your green goals and completing them, you mark them completed and the app keeps track of that. Upon clicking the carbon footprint icon on the bottom, you are taken to the carbon footprint calculator. And then the user is prompted to enter these different types of information, including monthly electric bill, gas bill, oil bill, car mileage, etc. And then once they press the calculate button, they are taken to their report where this is supposed to be the pie chart. And then this is supposed to be the summary of the pie chart and their current carbon footprint information. Then if we go back to the home screen, then we click on the tips icon, they are taken to the personalized tips section where the user is given specific tips based on their carbon footprint. And then if you click on more information, they are taken to an overlay that will give them information as to why it is that that specific tip is helping the environment and why and how it's attributed to their specific carbon footprint. And then upon clicking the progress icon here in the bottom, they are taken to the progress page with 3 different sections. And so if you click on green goals completed, you are taken to this page, which will tell you your total number of green goals completed on the app. And then if you click on your totals, the user is taken to how much of each specific green goal they've completed. And then clicking on more information informs them on what the green goal is and why their completion of it makes them a carbon hero. Then if we go back to the progress page and we look at monthly achievements, this is basically telling the person how they've been a carbon hero for that month. And so how much of each green goal they've completed. And at the bottom of the page, you have the monthly report section, which will keep track of different months. And so upon clicking summary, they are given a summary of all the important green goal information for the month that they have selected. And then if you go back to the progress page one more time, you have the carbon footprint history. And upon clicking on that, they are taken to this page, which it keeps track of all of the carbon footprint calculations that they have. And so it is organized. And if you click view details, it will give them their specific pie chart for that carbon footprint calculation, along with the details of their footprint calculation for that specific date. And then if you go back to the home screen, you do have the menu with account, where you can edit your photo and account settings. And then you also have the settings over here, which is where the notification settings are, language, location. And then these are buttons that will help them get to specific pages of the app too. So in terms of heuristic evaluation, what I learned from the feedback of the heuristic evaluations was the importance of creating a main interface. Upon receiving this feedback, I tried to make my interface as best as I could make it. Creating fields for the user to enter information, I did do that for the create account page and then the carbon footprint calculator page. And there were concerns over the types of data that the app needs in order to calculate the user's footprint and whether or not the user's carbon footprint could be calculated without certain data. And so, yes, it is able to. Like one of the people who evaluated my app, they mentioned how flight information was a concern. And so let's use flight information as an example. If a user has not been taking flights recently at all, then they could simply exclude the flight information from their calculation by not entering it in. And then the app will calculate their carbon footprint that way. The flight information will not be included at all, and it won't be a part of the summary or anything like that. It is simply the information that they have available and that they are able to input into the app. Here, I will demonstrate the hi-fi prototype. And so this is the create account page where the user can enter the different, well, the different requirements, which should be the name, the email address, and the password. This is the login page where they're able to log into Carbon Hero. This is the home screen. Once the user completes their green goals, they are able to mark them off. This is the menu screen with the account settings, regular settings, notifications. And then you have the carbon footprint calculator where the user can enter their information, whether or not they recycle newspaper, do they recycle aluminum and tin, they receive their calculation. This is the pie chart, and then they have a summary below of each of the different parts of the pie chart. Then upon going to personalized tips, this would be their specific personalized tips where they click on learn more, and they receive more information. Then you go to the progress page, total green goals completed, and then there's specific totals for each green goal. Upon clicking learn more, they are told more about each specific one. Back to the progress page, monthly achievements. The user is told which green goals they've completed for that month and how many of each. Monthly reports, view summary. They're different for each month. And then there's the carbon footprint history, where the user is able to see all their calculation dates. They're able to get their pie chart and their report. And then, so for Gorilla usability testing, I actually was able to get a lot of really, really good feedback from my participants. So an issue that I found was that text fields were not usable on mobile devices for some reason. So that would make it so the create account and carbon footprint calculator pages were not usable properly because the user was not able to create an account for the app or use the carbon footprint calculator if they are not able to use the text fields. The green gold totals page was another issue because one of the participants found that a few pieces of content on the green gold totals page were wired to the wrong learn more buttons. And so that requires some rewiring. This problem is somewhat critical because the buttons need to open up to the proper overlays in order for the user to be presented with the correct information. And then for the carbon footprint history details, the carbon footprint calculation dates on the carbon footprint history pages are all different. However, when you click on the view details button, they all have the same calculation date, even though they are all different reports. So yeah, the first issue could be fixed with going back into the prototyping tool and figuring out why it specifically doesn't work for mobile devices. The green gold totals page could simply requires a little bit of rewiring. And then the carbon footprint history details issue that can be fixed simply by just editing the calculation dates for each of the footprints. But yeah, no, the Gorilla usability testing was very, very important. And I feel like the feedback that I received was invaluable. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. That was my presentation.